Yes. So before I introduce the content of the webinar for the 3 days, I'm going to just introduce the panelists who will be addressing you at some point. They'll introduce themselves again, though. But we have Dari Balogun. He's going to be addressing you at some point for a couple of minutes. We have Yemi Kasali. He's also going to be addressing you today. We're going to have a few more on the panelists as administrators who will be able to answer your questions. We also have Kayode Folorunso. So we're going to be having David Dada, Kayode Folorunso, Yemi Kasali, and I think that's 4 that I've mentioned now that are on the panel. So as we go on in the lessons, you will get a chance to hear from them about their FM journey. This is about getting us all up to that level where we can enhance our career, advance our profession, and become successful in whatever we lay our hands upon, especially as facility managers. In the one of this seminar, we're going to look at FM career and business opportunities. I decided to put you first, so that as you look through the entire course of the webinar, make up your mind about the training that we're going to be providing as Max-Migold, the diploma program, and the other courses we have. You get a broader sense of direction, right? So you know what's available, you know what's possible, you know how you can, get a job and grow in the career, you know how you can start a business and advance in your business. So we start with FM education and professional pathways, career opportunities in facility management, and facility management business opportunities. Tomorrow, same time, 5 o'clock, we'll take care of the developing FM strategic framework. Most facility managers in their career, those who are very experienced, probably started facility management at the operational level and probably retired as operators of facilities, right? So we want to turn that around. We're getting the new age facility manager, the young upcoming professionals, to start thinking from the top. You can actually become more strategic and provide more value and have better impact on the organizations you work for. So that's why we're doing the developing FM strategic framework. So we're going to look at strategic facility planning. We're going to look at FM system startup information requirements and steps to developing an FM framework. So you may feel a little bit you're being taken to the top, but it's a good way to start your mind thinking about your career, your profession. So you don't begin to see facility management as that thing we do when we sweep the building and when we close the doors and when we power the generators and so on and so forth. There's a lot of why we do what we do, and that's what day 2 is going to answer. On day 3, I'm coming back to you again. Many people, they know how to get a job, but soon they'll lose the job. They don't know how to keep the job, right? So we're going to run you from the entire process of what makes you productive, what makes you valuable to your organization while at work. So in the 3, this is a day that nobody should miss. You don't have to be a facility manager. You have to be anybody that works in the modern workplace needs the 3 training. It's not really about, because we want facility managers to excel at what they do and get to the zenith of their profession. We want to get them productivity skills, but this is available to your accountants. You can get your production teams, construction staff. Just get everybody that works in offices, that work in modern workplaces, to make sure they tune in on the 3. That's going to be an expanded scope, and you can't afford to miss any of what we have on that day. Introduction to leadership and people management, communication, writing and presentations, getting and keeping your dream FM job, and this involves basically all kinds of jobs. So the 3 is, an expanded scope for everybody. And I hope to see more and more people in the webinar on that day. Okay, I've done the introduction of what we're going to be covering. I'm going to get right into it. What is facility management? It's the organizational function which integrates people, place, and process within the built environment with the purpose of improving the quality of life of people and the productivity of the core business. That's what facility management is. And this is as defined by the International Standardization Organization, ISO, in the code 41011-2017. This is what facility management definition is, and this is what the entire world has come to accept. But let me break this down a little bit so you can get a bigger sense, better sense of what FM does. The primary thinking of most people about facility management is buildings. That's the place, so they can relate to the place, right? But buildings or facilities are built for people, and the people who use the facilities need facilities or places where they work, live, play, and do all their functions. They want those places to serve them. They want those places to add value to them. So that's the whole idea of FM. Our job is to integrate people, place, using processes. All right. And why do we do our jobs? What do we do? What do we deliver as value from facility management? Improving the quality of life of people, improving the quality of life of people, as well as the productivity of the core business. FM used to be a technical discipline where, maintenance people are calling themselves FM. They just fix, both and nuts kind of thing. They react, they fix things when things break. Buildings are, that entity or that part of the organization that we spend so much money on, right? So, but now FM is now seen as a business discipline, because we enable the success of the organization by providing all the support services. That's what FM does. And we no longer react. We are now proactive, because we have systems in place now to ensure that we don't have to react to things that are breaking. FM started for maintenance. We have to give it to the construction teams who stay back to ensure that facilities are maintained, right? So that's our history, that's our story. But from the 80s, from 1979 to 80 and down to today, we've been having FM professional bodies from IFMA. RICS has been has had Royal Charter since 1792, and they've had facility management, formally organized since 1868. So it's a long time ago when we have FM as part of the built environment professionals. So thinking about FM, facility management, if I don't start talking about the skills you need to excel in FM, you still be thinking about facility management as maintenance, as engineering, as construction. It is not. And that's why it's important to know that facility management is about relationships. You manage people. You manage their expectations. You provide services and building and spaces to help them achieve the goals they set for themselves, their strategy. Facility management, a facility manager must have a good procurement and negotiation skills. You must know where to find the resources and know how to deploy them. So when we say procurement and negotiation, we are saying that you have to be a master of everything you do, not a specialist. A specialist knows how to do one thing. A master knows how to find all the specialists to solve all the problems that he has. He knows how to scope their jobs. He knows how to supervise them. He knows how to manage their performance. That's what a manager does, right? So as an FM, you must have these skills, and this is what we build in the body of knowledge of FM. Managing time is key, because FMs attend to so many things that can throw you in every direction. Managing projects, every time you have a project, you must use a set of tools to implement your project. Be able to research and find solutions. There's no problem that is thrown at you today that had not been experienced before or that doesn't have a solution, right? So the FM is a good researcher, is a good writer. He works with a team. He leads people by sharing the vision of where they should go in setting up tasks and targets and goals for the team. The FM is an innovative person. If you are one set in your old ways, you don't want to be in FM. FM is changing continuously. And then You must be able to make decisions on the go. You must be technologically focused, IT savvy. We used to have paper logbooks and spreadsheets. Now we're going software, and we're moving from software to enterprise resource systems down to building information modeling. Now we have sophisticated Internet of Things, deployments in buildings that makes buildings smart on their own and makes all that you have in your head to manage the building something you can encapsulate into logic and built into the system for the building to run itself. That's where we're going. FMs need to be numerically sound. You must know how to deal with numbers, especially financial numbers, be able to manage emergencies, plan the normal plan, create the risk plan for when the normal phase, right? So emergency planning is part of what we do. And then you must have a positive attitude. And FM is that person that is liked by all. It's a resource person to everybody. Because it researches, because it solves problems, you always need to be liked. And you have leadership as a way of getting that access to people. The International Facility Management Association defined 11 core competencies: communication, emergency preparedness and business continuity, environmental stewardship and sustainability, finance and business, human factors, leadership and strategy, operations and maintenance, project management, quality, real estate, and property management and technology. All of these are, if you just look at this list, what comes to mind will be, looks like the facility manager has to be a jack of all trades, right? Because this looks like everything. But the truth is, you are not a jack of all trades and master of none. You are a jack of all trades and master of all. That's what you are, a master, a generalist. So in summary, put all of these skills and competencies together. This is my own deduction. You must have analytical skills, be able to generate, analyze, make decisions from data, and implement actions from those decisions. Communicate, work with people, interact with people, be able to relate well, get information, act on information, solve problems, and make sure that you don't have communication gaps. And then lead. You lead upwards, your bosses, you lead laterally, sideways, your colleagues and your team, and you lead downwards, your subordinates. As an FM, you show example, you cast a vision. People pitch themselves into that vision and they run with it. The FM organizations globally has become so large. The Global FM is a conglomeration of all FM bodies globally. The Nigeria FM Initiative, or the Association of Facility Management Practitioners Nigeria, is our own national body for FM. All the other national bodies of FM are all part of this international body called Global FM. So if you are interested in becoming a member of the Nigeria FM Initiative, or the Association of Facility Management Practitioners Nigeria, which is the national body of FM in Nigeria, we'll drop a link for you. We'll drop a link for you to join the Telegram group for a start. Join the Nigeria FM Initiative Telegram group, and also the Max-Migold Facility Management Training Telegram group. These are places where we interact, we share knowledge, and we share opportunities. So I'll ask the team to please drop the links to those two Telegram groups in the chat of this webinar, as well as in return emails that we receive after the webinar, so that we can all become part of this large body of professionals. Now, by the way, FM is still in its nascent stages in Nigeria. If you think about all the buildings in Nigeria that needs to be managed, you'll be talking about hundreds of thousands, right? So the number of facility managers who have been trained, who recognize themselves as professionals in facility management right now, are still few compared to the building stock that we already have. And if we begin to look at the building stock that is coming, all the estates, all of the commercial buildings, and all of the new developments that are coming, both industrial and in all categories, you can tell that the opportunities are going to be enormous. There'll be more than enough for everybody if you pitch in on time, right? If you're in construction, work will come, work will go. If you are in construction, there'll be a time when we'll be feeling built up or slow down in construction. Every facility that has ever been built and all the ones that will be built in the future will need to be managed. So we need thousands and thousands and thousands of professionals in this industry, and we are still scratching the surface. So please join in. This is just a rundown of the facility management in Nigeria. Since 1995, there's been an organized chapter or body of facility managers in Nigeria, and this has grown over the years to having the association that I just mentioned about. Objective of the Association of Facility Management Practitioners of Nigeria represent the interests of all facility managers and companies practicing in the industry, be the voice of the Nigerian FM industry through advocacy, influence government policies related to infrastructure design, development, and management, work with the Nigerian FM industry regulatory body if and when created to ensure practitioners and companies and developers adhere to standards, support professional development of members of all cadres, work with universities in Nigeria to promote development, learning, and research in facility management, conduct surveys, research projects for reliable industry data, and become the source and validator for all industry data and information, organize conferences and seminars to promote knowledge and development in the industry, and reward excellence in the industry through awards and recognition. You needed to have been at the last just concluded Africa FM conference in Abuja at the International Conference Center. It was an amazing event. All the who is who in the built environment and in the FM industry in Nigeria and abroad were there, and it was a fantastic experience for all of us who experienced it. We hope to be having 2 such large events across the in the country every year. And so your learning opportunity is not going to win. Your networking opportunity is not going to reduce. Just make sure that you are in. So thinking about your FM career, I know people who go to school, they graduate, they look for work, they don't find work, they go for PGD, they come out, they don't find work, go for masters, hoping that maybe if they school more, they will get the job. It works for some professions, but it doesn't necessarily work for FM. FM is a practical profession. It is what you can do. What have you been exposed to? What is the training you have acquired, right? So if you have a bachelor's, an honorary diploma, any form of tertiary education, or you even have an opportunity to work as an artisan, a receptionist, an administrator somewhere, you have gained some transferable skills. What you need to do in coming to facility management is find a training, pitch into a training, and after which you find an entry level of position where you can actually come in, even as an intern. The important thing in facility management is, 1, you are trained, 2, you have some experience. So that experience is very key, because you need to be able to learn, from people who are in the industry, even if it's for 3 to 6 months. It will be significant to your career progress, right? And then you go on to get certification. So there are key words to consider. The first is ensure that you take a training in the industry. Have something behind your intentions. Don't be intending to work in an industry that has so much opportunities, and then you just hope that one day you'll be thrown right into it. No, take a training. And then 2, as you take that training, look for opportunities. If you're not currently working, if you're currently working and you want to switch into facility management, approach your organization or approach other organizations. Let that opportunity be given to you to show what you have learned. For a few months, you learn the ropes and you're good and you're ready. After a few years, 2-3 years, you start picking up certifications, and that is your path to the top in facility management. If you want to pick up degrees and degrees and degrees later, it's fine. We all want to have as many degrees as possible. I have quite a few that I'm also happy I have, and I want everybody to, but this is not the first thing you strive for. You strive to be relevant to your company, to your organization, to the industry that you want to serve in. Okay, so looking to get started, you need to work on your CV. There are so many positions people have held over the years that are facility management that were not called facility management. You have done so much administrative work. You've done so much coordination. You've done so much planning and execution. You've done so much operations. You've done so much maintenance, and you've done so much events and planning. And there are so many things that you have done, where you have managed people, provided services. Learn to, converge all of that in your CV to make you relevant to facility management, because that's the beginning point, okay? Now, people write CVs, people, you meet somebody and you want to express yourself about what you want. There are some CVs you read and you just be wondering, does this person even, what he or she has? It's almost blank and worthless. So I'm going to teach you a few tricks to give a powerful introduction, give a good impact, reach out and make a pronouncement of who you are, and then follow up to defend it with more tips I'm going to give you. So the first one is me in 30 seconds. Create your own introduction with these 5 parts. Your name, the job you want, which is your objective, why you would be good at that job, your qualifications, some traits or skills that will help you succeed in that job, and 5, a commitment question. Now, this can be dropped into your background or introduction to yourself in your cover letter, can be dropped into your CV profile column or paragraph, can be used as your introduction in an interview, anything that helps you make a remarkable impression of who you are. An example: hello, my name is AK Sonia, and I want a job as site facility manager in a mall. I have 3 years of site operations experience and a comprehensive FM training. My clients always rate me high on customer service. I'm a process-driven FM, and my teams give me their best efforts. What position will you need my skills and experience for? Now, look at what happened here. Number 1 is there. My name is Sonia AK, right? And the job I want, my objective, I want a job as site facility manager. Lay it out upfront. Where? In a mall, in a bank, in a factory, whatever. You need to have a target. And that's why people who say, I want any work, anywhere, don't get jobs. Forget it. If you tell me I want a job, just give me any job. I need to feed my family. I have expenses to pay. The moment you go in that route, you don't get a job because you are using sympathy and pity to appeal for a job. Don't do it. It's a big mistake. All right. Come out with confidence. Sell yourself as someone with value, not someone that needs to be pitied. Nobody wants to give you a job out of pity. They would rather give you money to go and feed and solve today's problem out of pity, not a job, because a job is going to create further complications. They have to pity you throughout that job because you can't deliver on it. Prove that you have something of value to offer, and that's what the Me in 30 Seconds does. And look at that a 4th line, some traits or skills that will help you succeed at the job. I'm a process-driven FM. My teams give me their best efforts. That's exactly the kind of thing somebody who's trying to employ an FM will be looking for. You're not going to copy all of this and use them. You're going to find something from within you to express who you are in a powerful and confident way. Okay? Now, the power statement. A power statement is used at any point where you need to talk about a particular skill or strength that you have. A lot of us will write in our CV, oh, I'm a process-driven person, I'm a detail-oriented person, I pay attention to details, I do this, I do that. We just look at all of those lists, I'll just be laughing. You need to use a power statement to express your skill and your value. Identify a value, skill, or strength. Give a specific example, accomplishment, show the results, match your value to the needs of the employer. For example, I'm creative and results-oriented. That is my value, skill, or strength, right? For example, at Max-Migold Ltd, I created a new marketing plan and brochure that already increased monthly sales by 50%. What are you talking about? A specific example or accomplishment. I'm confident I can help to improve your company's sales in the same way. You have shown results and you have matched your values to the employer's needs and requirements. Most employers will give you a chance to at least come for the interview if you come up this strongly. We apply for jobs all the time, but many people don't know where jobs really are. We keep, just doing the same thing continuously. There are so many places where jobs are. You can find jobs in advertisements, job placement, job boards, personal contacts with companies, word of mouth, somebody knows somebody who knows somebody. And then there's so much in the job market that most jobs are not advertised. Some jobs are created because you showed up, introduced yourself strongly with my me in 30 seconds, and then reinforced it with skill upon skill using power statements. What's ringing in an entrepreneur's mind? I need this guy. He's multi-skilled. He's very valuable. He needs to work with me, right? That's why many jobs are not the jobs that you had applied for because you saw them on the streets, on newspapers, or on online, and you got them, right? If you look for work amongst your network. Let people around you know what you can deliver, not because of sympathy. This is very powerful because at the end of the day, if you tap into this network approach using me in 30 seconds and power statement, you will definitely get ahead. All right, you go for an interview and you hear all kinds of questions, and you have all this research you've done online about how to respond to those questions. There's some questions that you have researched it, the employer knows you have researched those questions, and they know you are going to recite the answers you've gotten, and they know how to challenge and tackle you, right? So at the end of the day, the important thing is for you to think about what the employer is probably thinking when they ask this common question. Tell me about yourself. What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? Why do you want to work for us? What did you think of your last boss? How do you react to pressure? What do you expect to be paid? Describe your last major mistake. Have your ideas ever been rejected? What are your career goals? Do you have any questions for me? So many of those questions will pop to you. Think about what the interviewer may want to hear. For example, are you prepared? Does this person have the experience that meets our needs? Is this person honest at all? Does he respect his leaders? If you have something negative about your previous boss, just be rest assured the person that is talking to you doesn't want you. If it's negative, what you had about your last boss, you probably have the same thoughts about him or her when they put you in, right? And so on and so forth. It's important to think about how to use me in 30 seconds, power statements, turn negatives to positive. If they ask you about your weakness and you say, oh, I don't have any weakness, or you call something that is good and say, that's my weakness. Oh, I work too hard, for example, and say, oh, that's my weakness. They'll just know that you're deceiving yourself. Instead, give a real weakness, not something that will knock you off qualifying for the job, but something that you can easily convert to a positive. So these are the power tools you use every time you go for interviews. Don't go to any interview that you've not studied about the employer. I see this too often. I conduct tens and tens of interviews every month, and I see people coming to me for interviews, and they don't know anything about what I do. They don't know anything about the role they are coming to interview for. They just show up and say, I'm looking for a job. I can make a good presentation of myself. If you don't know the organization at all, you not research them, you not ask questions, you don't know anything, there's nothing you say that will be in alignment with the goals of that organization. It's just be drop, 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 and yari, 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 and they'll let you go. So prepare yourself using me in 30 seconds and power statements as much as possible. And then you go for interviews, and some people just feel, I don't care what they think of me. I have to show them who I am. No. You have to show them your best self when you go for an interview. There's always that tension that comes with interviewing for any role, right? So first thing is to pray for peace so that you can have some serenity, right? Be polite and respectful. Some interviewers are not nice. They'll keep you waiting, for example. You'll become frustrated at some point. No, no. Don't let it get to you, because that will make you react negatively when the interviews actually eventually start, right? Be on time. If you are late for an interview, you don't deserve that job. No circumstance should make you late. Show interest in the company and the interviewer, smile and be pleasant, act confidently and speak clearly. And then how do you appear? Clean appearance, moderate in hairstyle, Don't overdo the perfume, but don't stink. Don't let your sweat take over the room. Look like a professional. If you dress to an interview looking too expensive, you give an impression. If you're looking too rash and too dejected, you give another impression. You don't want to be in any of those extremes. At least make sure your clothes are well ironed. They don't have to be expensive. They are clean and they are pressed. And then the level of formality is one notch above the level at which you will work, right? So if you're going to work in t-shirt and jeans, you don't go to the interview for that job with t-shirt and jeans. At least have a shirt and trouser. If you are going to work in shirts and trousers, have a jacket on top of your shirt and trouser. If you are going to go on in business casual with a jacket, for example, to work, then have a tie, be fully formal. Those are the kind of things we're talking about for dressing, one notch above how you will work. And then there are also tips and tools for answering, filling forms, making sure that you get the right information in. Use as much as possible these power tools I've given you, min 30 seconds and power statements. So you can, and then ensure that you are able to catalog your work history. People don't like gaps. If there's a gap in your work history, explain it. Okay, let it not look as if you were fired and you couldn't find a job and now you're coming to them to come and look for work. Some kind of situation that they may have to deal with later that they may not want to. You've gotten the job. You're not at FM. You're managing a site. You have, whatever it takes, and you're happy that that you have this job, right? Many people don't know what it takes to keep a job, and they don't know what it takes to excel on the job. Within a month or two, they become lackadaisical. They blend in with others they meet there who are not pulling their weight. They begin to do average. They begin to come late. They begin to have enemies and cliques and cronies. It's important to make contacts and build your network. You cannot bury your head in the sand like an ostrich when you're in a job. Communicate clearly with others and show a good attitude and appearance. I'm going to talk more about this on the third day of this class, so you can understand the power you can wield on people just from being able to communicate and relate well. And then work hard and prove your value. What does an employee provide as value to an organization? Revenue, savings of expenses. If you are not generating revenue, you are not helping them to blow out the money that they have, right? Save costs and make your customers happy and always returning. Those are the things that you provide to your employer that will make them want to keep you. Don't do this, oh, well, I'm not a salesperson. I don't like sales. No, that's not how it works. That's not how it works. You need to understand how your organization generates the revenue from which your salary is paid and do what you can to support that process. How do you progress on a job? You've just learned how to keep a job. You must immediately you start on one role, begin to itemize all the positions you will want to progress into. There are many people that are on the road today that don't know where their next path is leading to. Write down those positions. If you're not seeing a way to the top of your organization, there will be higher positions in other organizations that you will need to note down. You cannot say, I am this, and from year 1 to year 2 to year 3, you are just that. That's a losing mentality. Okay? So, positions you want, the skills and knowledge you will need to get those positions, the ways to gain the skills and knowledge, and your next steps. How are you going to move through those steps? And then you must keep aware of changing technology and software as you advance in your career. Training. Max-Migold is number one in providing training, across Nigeria. There are other training centers, but we provide the vast amount of content, and we have the highest number of faculties that are internationally trained to provide you the best FM training across the country. I'm going to take a moment now to introduce to us the Facility Management Mastercraft Diploma program that's starting on the 10th of January. And I'm going to have the panelists, Mr. Dare, Mr. Yemi, Mr. David, and Kayode Folorunsho to give us 2 minutes each of the path they have come through in their FM career because of being part of this program. The FM Mastercraft Diploma is the first comprehensive facility management professional diploma program put together in Nigeria. It runs for 3 months, and it's starting in January on the 10th. We have 2 different batches running, concurrently. We'll have the virtual class Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, 5 to 7 p.m. in the evenings. That is the virtual class. And then we'll have the physical class happening in our training center in Unila campus on Saturdays. Those who are taking the physical class will be whole day on Saturday, 10 to 4. And those who are doing the virtual class will have 3 sessions during the week in the evenings so that they can do it along with their work. And the reason for this package is to ensure that people all over the world can be part of it. We have a platform that can accommodate thousands and thousands. This Zoom platform can accommodate thousands, all right? So it's open. The body of knowledge of FM is universal, but what we are teaching will most likely benefit African practitioners or facility managers or people who are managing facilities in developing economies. Okay, so I'll start to show you the FM diploma modules. It's about 32 different modules. They're all comprehensive and will be covered in each day of class. We have the FM Foundation, where you learn all the introductory learning about FM, how to operate facilities effectively, service level agreements, and the rest. We have the career. The career course is all of the education, training, the skills, job opportunities, and career progression. We have the business case presentation, which is all about communication, crafting a business case, effective presentation. We have leadership, customer service, and stakeholder communication. This is a very comprehensive day where we learn about people, how we impact people, how people impact us, how to manage expectations. We have training facility planning. This is taking you all the way to the top. Part of the things we're going to be talking about in this 3 days webinar is going to come from this course. Procurement. Who does procurement? We think procurement does procurement. No, facility manager does procurement for facility management. Procurement team only help us as a vehicle to execute our wishes and our desires, right? So we'll learn about procurement. We'll learn about human resources management. You manage people. You have to know that you are a HRO manager in your department. You select people to work for you. You give them tasks. How do you define the work? You appraise them, and so on and so forth. That's what we're going to be learning on. And then we have air conditioning, everything about ACs. We have design build commissioning, the entire process of transversing from construction into operations and maintenance. It's what we're going to be covering in that class. Operational readiness. Most FMs still see this as an area that we don't get into. We just see construction finish, hand over to us, but we don't know our roles in the entire process. All right, so we're going to learn about that. We're going to take regulatory requirements and building codes. Facility management is not a profession that is without legal implications. There are standards, there are codes, there are laws that govern the built environment. And then we'll have facility condition assessment. How do you know the condition of your facilities? How do you assess defects? How do you calculate facility condition index? How do you carry out facility performance evaluation? How do you use this data to make decisions to help you improve on your facility management? Emergency preparedness and business continuity. This is a huge area that is very lacking in almost all organizations. Something blinks and we suffer for it, right? How do we prepare for emergencies? What are they? What business continuity plans can we put in place? And then assets. We manage assets. The building is an asset. The components of the buildings and the equipment are all assets. How do we acquire? How do we deploy? How do we track? How do we retire assets? What is life cycle management? And then building fabric and structure. We look at all components of the building, from walls to floors to doors to windows and roof. What are the maintenance issues and what are the plans we can have in place on how to maintain our building fabric? And then maintenance planning and records. You go about doing one thing or the other in your facilities, and what records do you have? What kind of templates can you develop and use for maintenance planning and implementation? Then space and move management, the need for space planning, the process, allocation options, moving from one organization to location to another, and all of those considerations that go with it. Space planning is a critical skill that you need in FM because space costs money. And if you don't know how to manage space, you'll be wasting money. What about sustainability and energy? Energy itself is almost 60% of our operations costs. If you're not smart with energy, you're losing it completely when it comes to how you manage your facility. So we're looking at all of those sustainability considerations, care for the environment, care for people, and the triple bottom line. And then we'll look at energy, how to be efficient with our energy, and how to do building energy audits and evaluations. And then quality, we take a day to look at quality management. When you talk about quality of a good or product, it's easy to look at the features and say it's strong, it's durable, it's shiny, it's appealing, and so on and so forth. What about service? How do you define quality of service? How does the customer contribute to your definition and delivery of quality service? And then we'll look at all these plumbing systems from piping to sewage to water plants maintenance. Have a whole day for that. And then how do you organize your team? This is where leadership, this is where putting processes in place comes in, right? What kind of models for organizational structure? What are the common best-in-class models that you can adopt? And then finances. FM spend money, but most facility managers don't know how to think about money. What is the total cost of ownership? Life cycle costing. FM financial operations guidelines. FM impact on asset life cycle cost and value. What is best value and how do you calculate facility condition index and the basics of budget? There's a lot to learn on this particular module. And then you have projects. Plan, get approval for projects, plan projects, deploy projects, close projects, do all of those learnings from the outcome of a project. And what are FM projects really? What is the difference between FM projects and operations? We'll learn all that on that day. And then we have cleaning. The first impression people make of your facility when they come in is how clean it is, right? So how do you go through that process of managing cleaners, cleaning processes, make people healthy, an ambience that is appealing and productive for delivering results for your organization? And then electrical and power system maintenance. We're looking here at everything power, from generation to distribution, to all of the things that you do in our facilities. Power, when misused, can lead to accidents, can lead to fire, right? So how do we maintain it? Power, when not properly managed, can lead to wastage. And we'll talk about all of that in that class. And then health and safety. This is a key area for facility managers. You are health and safety experts. You are responsible for health and safety. What should you know about health and safety? What are the health and safety laws? Risk assessment control, control of substance hazardous to health, COSH, manual handling, health and safety management system, safe work method statements, workplace hazards and risk management, fire prevention at the workplace, and physical and physiological health hazards and risk. There's so much more. Permit to work is there, and everything we're going to learn about health and safety. And then firefighting equipment, how do we manage them? How do we become code compliant with them? FM technology. FM should not be looking for an IT specialist. The FM should become the IT specialist. There's a lot we need to do in facility management now that should make us give us enough desire to learn everything about the simple tools and techniques we can use to improve on technology adoption in our facility. And then workplace productivity. You know, some of the things we're going to be looking at will come from this course as well. Tips to finding the right job, achieving success, you know, success on the job, report writing, keys to effective presentations. The business course. You want to start a business in FM. How do you go about it? What are the opportunities in FM as a businessman? So those are the things we're going to be covering. If you have questions about the FM Mastercraft Diploma starting in January, please drop your questions on the chat, and I'll ask the team too to put the link to the FMMC registration page on the chat as well, so that people on the call can click on it and register and indicate their interest. We are having a very fantastic offer for everybody who are on this seminar. So stay tuned to the last day. There are fantastic announcements we're going to be making for making it to this level with us at Max-Migold. So I'm going to give a minute each to, let me start with Mr. Yemi Kasali. Can you please introduce yourself and go on with your comments?
Yeah. Good evening, everyone. I'm glad to be part of this presentation. It's a great work you are doing, Mr. Paul. Great work.
Thank you.
My name is Olayemi Kasali. I'm a facility manager by profession. I work with Bro Property Services Limited. I have some years of experience in FM. And I joined this class just like you guys are starting today. I joined the free training, and then I got attracted. I knew there are some things I needed to know. So after the free training, I joined the main training. I like to tell you that what you are going to learn within these few days is only the tip of the iceberg. The real training is what Mr. Paul has just announced to you. And for your information, I got to know about Mr. Paul and Max-Migold training some years back. Like some of you might also be contemplating that, okay, maybe something I can do anytime I feel like. I want to employ you to please take this training with all seriousness and urgency. I got the recommendation from a trainer in the US, actually, in Houston, US, in 2017, recommending Mr. Paul to me because I went for a training on certified facility management, and the white guy that took us that training, Mr. Viken, asked me to go back to Mr. Paul in Nigeria. When I get back home, I should go and meet him to really mentor me. When I came back from the US, I came to see Mr. Paul and told me, come around, let me, be part of this training and all sorts of. So I took some time to actually start the training. And the only regret I have is that I should have done this years back, as far back as 2017, to have made all the difference. So I don't want you guys to make the same mistake. I want you guys to please take this with all seriousness and speed. Please be part of the main training after this appetizer. Because what can be offered to you within 3 days, even if we are doing it every hour of the day, is only an appetizer. So come for the retraining. I can assure you are not going to regret. That's the summary of what I would like to say here. So you're all welcome. Enjoy yourself, and please take your notes and try to grab something. You have a lot to learn. You have a lot. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Yemi. That was fantastic. Let's hear from Dada David.
Hello, everyone. Good evening. Good evening, Mr. Paul. It's been a while. Okay, my name is Dada David. Just like Yemi said, I was also a student of FFMC. So in my own case, let me start this way. I got to know Mr. Paul way back in, I think 2006, if I'm not mistaken. I'm sure even Mr. Paul might not know this. There's this contra Lagos State government, Max-Migold handled for Lagos State government, that we're using the Asbifi, on Asbifi Road in Ikeja. You know, that was where I was just there doing the work, and it was announced to us that there is a facility management training. Okay. Meanwhile, before then, I was more or less an agent, a property agent. I studied estate management. So that, along that line, I worked with, what's it called now, private properties, and some real estate firms. So when I learned about it, I was curious. And then the opportunity came. There was this 3 days training, just like this opportunity you are having to. I came for it. That one was physical, not virtual like this. I went to Unilag, and it was mind-blowing. I mean, everything that we got, I mean, your own is you're even very lucky you're getting 3 days. Our own was 1 day, but it was for the whole day. So more or less, you are still getting the same thing. So when I saw what was on offer that day, I knew it within myself that no, it can't end here. There is a lot to know in this. And then from then, I think I attended that program either 2018 or 2019. And it has been on my mind that I will do this program. And eventually last year, I was able to take it. And I am not going to mince words. Between the period I did this training and now, a lot has changed. In fact, I have changed jobs. Okay, maybe what I didn't tell you is that I work with Main One as a facility coordinator, Main One Cable. And I was there to finish my exam. I was there to write my project when I got the job. And I can tell you for free, it was this program that gave me the job. You know, it's the horizon, the broadness of the program, what you tend to get. You can just thinking about it except you attend the class. So I will want to encourage you. This is not a hype or anything. If you have the privilege, attend it. Make yourself available. Go through the class. Don't miss a session. Ask questions. By the time you finish this, I can assure you, you will not remain the same. You know, it is sorry for those that are Muslims or other religions, but when we are in church, the pastor tells you, oh, your life will not remain the same when you do this, when you do that. I gotta tell you that if you attend this program, your life will not remain the same. Even if you have been into facility management and you have not gone through any formal training in facilities, this is the program for you. Trust me, I am really, really glad I did this. And it has even spurred me to, you know, go further in the studies, in the trainings, other trainings and professional exams. And so I would like to, you know, thank Mr. Paul for this platform, for this privilege. Once again, I want to encourage everyone, if you have the privilege, whatever it will cost, you will not regret it. Mr. Paul gave us 2 minutes. I don't know what else I can say in 2 minutes, but it's a privilege, Mr. Paul. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. I really appreciate that. Okay, so I think we still have Mr. Dare Balogun, on the call. Dare, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. All right. So as quickly as possible. Just a quick one.
Yeah, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Dari Balogun. I'm a facility manager and I currently work at Landmark. So for me, I started my career in construction. And I've been doing it for close to 8 years. But one day I was scrolling on LinkedIn and I came across Max-Migold. And I also came for this training like everyone, this free training. I went for the physical one in Unilag. So, but based on because of what I heard, I know it wasn't easy, but I had to get the money to come for the real training. And of all the things I learned, one thing I know I will never forget that this training is going to teach you is that as a facility manager, the moment you get to any site at all, you automatically know what you are there to do. You won't just enter any site and be running etasketa like a joke Mr. Paul used to make. You automatically know what you want to do, and you know how to articulate your responsibility in a way that even if you are sleeping and someone calls you, you already know the answer to give. So for anybody that wants to improve his career, that wants to really make something out of himself and help his clients or their clients, I will really tell you that you should register for this program. It has really helped me in my career, in decision making. Apart from being an FM, you learn about operations. You learn how to manage people. You learn how to put right processes and policies in place that will not only help you, but also help your clients. So I'm encouraging everyone to find time to take this training when it comes. And I also want to thank Mr. Paul for what he's doing for the youths and for everyone willing to take this training. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, Mr. Dari Balogun. Finally, we have a minute or two for Mr. Kayode Folorunsho, as quickly as possible. Thank you.
Yes, I'll be very brief. First, I would like to thank Mr. Paul and the whole family of Max-Migold for this great opportunity to be part of this program and also part of the FMC program. It is a wonderful and life-changing experience. In fact, I entered the facility management career as novice. I know nothing, but it's a privilege. But when I noticed there are gaps I need to fill in the career, and this training was introduced to me, I'm definitely sure that something great is coming from this training. And so far, people around me, people I've been working with before the training knew something changed. The way I analyze things, the way I present things has changed a lot. And in fact, management comment about it. I was privileged to be managing a building, CBN building in Ibadan. And a lot of things after the training actually changed. So I'm recommending this training for anyone who doesn't even have any formal education or facility management. You have a total package. What Max-Migold is going to give you is top notch. You can't get it somewhere else. If I have money, I will pay for everybody in this group to join the training. That's how enthusiastic I was about the training. You get what you actually need to move on in your career and the job. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Kayode. I believe Anayo is scheduled for tomorrow. Anayo, is it today or tomorrow? I think it's later in the other sessions you will come on, right? And then we'll have more panelists as well in future sessions tomorrow and next. But there's something that when the panelists were talking about their experiences, what they have learned, what they can now do, how they got a job. It's nice. You notice that none of them talked about how their salary also increased, right? For security reasons. So
that is automatic, Mr. Paul. Automatic.
Exactly. So we'll keep up on the wraps. for security reasons, right? You know, but you really, nobody on this program that will not recoup the return on investment within the year they took the program, and it's always that worth it. So thank you guys. Now you've heard about you know, a local training we developed and the impact it's making. There are also international training that you could, you know, take, like the essentials of FM from IFMA. You have the sustainability facility professional. Let me see if I have a slide on that. The FMP, the SFP, yes, you see that, the CFM. These are all, you know, different designations and credentials you can acquire. But right now, there's none of these credentials that is less than ₦1 million, right? So start from somewhere, build yourself, become competent, have a certificate that's recognized by employers around you, right? When is that time for you to make that international launch? You want to go to Canada and the rest, then you can come back and then we'll launch you into some of these other international certifications. FM has a robust body of knowledge, right? And nothing should stop you from advancing your career in this part, because there's nobody that advances his career in this part that will ever be redundant. Let me try and just reiterate that again. The stock of buildings we have today will need to be professionally managed, right? The buildings that are coming up in the future will need to be professionally managed. Even when the entire landscape is built up, all buildings will require management professionally on an ongoing basis. So if you compare professions, facility management is just like food. If we are alive, we will keep eating. Because we are dealing with a necessity, the built environment. This is where we live, this is where we work, this is where we recreate, this is where, even when we die, we still need facilities to be buried in, right? So there will always be demand for this profession. Now, you either decide that you want to be a quack in the profession, because the profession is looking for so many people, you decide to be a quack such that the demand is so high, we would employ anybody that says, I want to work, right? Or you make the distinction of being a professional who has the body of knowledge and can deliver value in the built environment. That's what the differentiator is, that skills and abilities to deliver on the job. So the choice is yours, right? Okay, so we'll talk about the FM job markets. When people talk about FM, they think, oh, I have to be in maintenance or operations, you know, to be a facility manager. Everything that provides support to the core business, everything that is not the core business is facility management. So think about it. CSR, administration, compliance, FM, technology, risk, projects, you know, accommodation, residential, you know, cost of ownership, transactions, support services, security, cleaning, catering, everything that we do is FM. So you can actually find a profitable point to pitch in FM. There are facility management companies that they provide just one solution. Some are just training, some are just consulting, some are just management. There are individuals that their jobs can take them from health and safety to space management, to finance, to, you know, to security, and so on and so forth. The whole idea is that you are providing support to the built environment and ensuring that your organization is able to advance or to progress. The FM career is a unique career. We say we work 40 hours, but our 40 hours is a different 40 hours. You know, we don't come to work with others or like others, you know, we come to work for them. If you're a manager in a company and the other managers are there, you are the manager of FM, you're automatically the one who provides services to make the other managers able to do their job, isn't it? Your job should not obstruct their work, right? So if they are coming 8 o'clock to resume, you can also come 8 o'clock like them. No, You make sure that they have a space they can enter before 8. You make sure the place is clean. That's our job. Our unique opportunity to serve them is what stands us out. And we are the only department that can say we are contributing to the success of all departments. Each department will stand on itself and say, oh, we are doing our thing, we are succeeding. But we can call ourselves the enablers of success of all departments. So that makes us unique. So our planning, our strategy will not only align with that of the corporate, the organization, but also with every business unit that we serve. So our 40 hours could be staggered, could be at odd hours. You have things to do where nobody needs to be disturbed. You don't want to disturb people's work, right? So that's the uniqueness about our work. We almost always stay on call. But I tell you, being on call and your phone is ringing continually means you are not planning well. It means you're not proactive. It means there's something wrong. Because even though you are on call, people will rarely have the need to disturb you at your private time. Why? You have empowered your teams. You have an emergency planning and risk management plan in place. You have so many things you have done already to ensure that the system will run. You have a series of processes and templates and tools that are already in place to ensure that people can do their job and succeed at it. So you can be free, right? Doesn't mean that you should shut off, because you have to be accessible on an ongoing basis. Part of that FM pie, FM job landscape that is ever expanding. And you could be in any of these spaces. You could work on, I call it the two sides of the coin in the FM profession. The demand organization is what we call the client company, right? So we call it client company here, but internationally we call that the demand organization. That's the organization that's using the service. You could be the facility manager for that organization who is supervising service providers and contractors who provide services, right? Or at some other time in your career, you could be in the FM company or service delivery company. In all, you need to understand the strategy of the demand organization, right? And then know the difference between your careers in both domain or both areas. In the FM company, it's easy to rise to any level. In the demand organization, if an organization is an oil and gas company, for example, you have that point you will get to. You know that you are director of facilities. They will not likely make you the MD because you don't know how to drill oil, for example. If it's a banking organization, you plateau at some point because they probably not make you MD because they know that you don't have the skill set to handle finance and things like that, right? But bottom line is, if you are in the demand organization, you will also get a better remuneration. You get some kind of better opportunities to be cared for, like the in-house staff, compared to being a contractor staff, right? So the career of an FM should actually move between both at some point, right? So in my own case, I worked as an in-house FM demand organization. I moved into the FM service company. I worked as an organization, a service provider, and then I moved into entrepreneurship, running my own FM company. FM can be operated at 3 levels: the strategic level, the tactical level, and the operational level. Now, what we teach people is that the impact you make on the organization's performance and cost efficiency with a little strategic input is the highest. Thinking strategically, planning strategically will give you huge returns of performance compared to when you always operate at the tactical or the operational level. So let's look at these levels. At the tactical level, you are doing budgets and you are doing operations plans and maintenance plans. At the operational level, you are doing rosters and you are doing daily checks and maintenance activities and the rest. That is the shop floor, right? You need to be able to think at the top, act, create plans at the middle, that's tactical, and act at the bottom. Everything you do in the middle is dependent on reasons you have created at the strategic level. And all the plans you create at the tactical level will now be the controlling factors for the things you do at the shop floor. Do you want to start a business in FM? Typical business management procedures will do. You don't need to have a license as yet, because the FM industry is open. There's a very low barrier to entry, right? But what I gave you as the tips to succeed in an FM job should be your baseline to starting the FM business. Why? You cannot sell a product you don't know. Even if you are the best entrepreneur today, you cannot run an FM business without having FM training and FM experience. There are so many people doing this right now, but you can tell by the way they deliver their job, you can tell by the processes they deploy that they know very little. So if you are starting a business in FM, don't just go about starting the business and running the business. First, become a professional facility manager through training and through following the ropes, like taking up a job, learning from those on the job, and then moving on to become an entrepreneur, okay? And all of those things we do in starting the business, a business plan, a small summary of what you have in mind. The reason you need to think about your market and your business plan really is the opportunities in FM are so huge. There are so many, so much, that if you don't do a research, you will probably just go along with what everyone else is doing, okay? Don't go with what everyone else is doing. There are areas that are still untapped. A few years ago, power as a service was, it was hardly heard of. There are a few companies into power as a service. But some companies have made a fortune today providing power as a service. It's just a model for providing the device, powering your estates or your facility, and metering you just the way a Code Disco or a Keja Disco will do. So they take care of the maintenance, they take care of their equipment, and you don't have to worry about that. And you just pay for the power you get. We started hearing of IPPs, and now we have people coming to use embedded generations to provide power. That is one unique business in FM. I worked some few years ago in an organization where we didn't have anything that belonged to us. The printer, the copier, they were all brought in by an FM company who provides all of those services. They drop them there, they do the maintenance, and then you run all your prints and copies out of it, and it meters them. At the end of the day, you are sent an invoice and you just pay for your use. So you don't have to acquire those assets. We've heard about plumbing company, but I had a friend once whose business basically was just about plumbing difficulties, plumbing challenges. If your pipes are rusty, instead of digging them all out to put new pipes, he would just come in and he has a means of coating the pipes inside. So he seals all the rust and make sure the rust stops, and then you continue running your water and whatever fluid you're running in the system. That was his own FM. People are into security today, people are into cleaning, people are into all kinds of services. You need to know where you want to pitch your tent. And business registration right now is not really difficult anymore. Enterprises, limited liability company can be opened on your table. You can sit on your computer today and complete the entire process for owning a company, right? So that shouldn't be an area of concern anymore. FM can be loosely categorized as hard services or soft services, right? The hard services are the building services. We call them the building services. They are the things that are built to the building, electrical systems, the mechanical systems like air conditioning system, the plumbing, and the rest. Soft services are the things that we provide for the users. We call them occupant services. Okay, so these are two broad market areas that you can pitch in as facility managers. And then all industries. So when somebody asks me, what's your target industry? What's your target clients? I say, anybody that has space large enough, that spends money on their facilities, that need professionals to manage it, for them to save costs and get value from it. Do you know that facilities and assets is the second largest expense category for most organizations? Second largest. after salaries. A lot of money go into facilities, and in many cases, people don't even take tab of them because they are spent in trickles, diesel, cleaning materials, this, that. We just keep spending money in every angle. When these monies are aggregated, it becomes a huge area, and we're spending sometimes amiss with mistakes, not knowing how to get best value. So every industry, it applies. If they have space, if they need to work in space, then they need facility managers. And if you run a business in facility management, just the way we talk about networking as an individual professional, you should please make efforts to be part of professional networks. Many of us will come from any of these NIQS, NIA, NSC, NIES, and the rest, right? Don't abandon those networks as you are building your new FM network in AFMPN, IFMA, BIFM, now IWFM, and the rest. Don't abandon the networks in the professions you come, because facility management is multidisciplinary. There are always skills and competencies that are transferable from the other disciplines you come into FM from, and that's why it's open. Starting business is not for the faint-hearted. Just stay on your job, stay on your lane. If you know that you don't have the heart to run a business. Everywhere in the world, they keep saying that 1 in 5 business that are started survives. The remaining 4 in 5 dies off. You know why? Because it is not easy, right? So you must have that entrepreneurial mindset. You must understand what it means to be in business. It's not luxury. I came down from salary that is almost some millions per month to 80,000 per month to get my business started, just to make sure I kept things going. And organically, I grew it to the point where the initial money I had, I said, oh, I've saved so millions. I want to use to start a business. The money ran down in less than a year when I've not even made a single sale. That's the heart of an entrepreneur. Find a need and fulfill it. At the time we started Max-Migold, training was being offered in trickles, one-day training. There were people that would be giving training for 29,900 naira. They say it's FMP. Just go on the internet and download some PDF files and start, and then some guys had some training that were really expensive. People that were doing training, coming into FM training, there were very few. I looked at the market and looked, as big as this industry is, how can we be training 50 to 100 people a whole year in a population of 200 million? Can we turn that to thousands quickly? That was the founding philosophy behind Max-Migold. We needed to turn out professionals in their thousands. So after a year, and we realized that, oh, well, training's expensive, people will not be able to get out those thousands. We launched the Giving Back series. This is his series 6 since we started in 2016, 2017 to run this series of sessions where we have, can you imagine in this particular training that you are part of right now, we had 4,600 registered. 4,600 registered. And we only started, sounding out the notices barely a month and a half ago. So you can imagine how many people really could have been reached so that was the need. We also saw a gap in technology. We saw energy ruining many businesses. How are they going to get around this energy menace? So we came into energy efficiency. So energy efficiency, technology, training, and capacity building became the 3 key pillars of starting this business. So think about it. There are so many things that still needs to be, and these niches I even mentioned are still untapped. I can't even tell you that what we are doing in Max-Migold is reaching 1% of our population. No, it's not. It's not. So there's a lot to be done. We say find what you love to do. Don't make your work drudgery. Don't make it difficult. Don't do something that you don't have a mind for. And then have fiscal discipline. There's that separation between my money and my company's money. Every month, I pay my own salary, I keep it in another account. If it finishes, I wait for my next salary. I don't go into the company funds to go and take money. In fact, Max-Migold is a net borrower from me than me borrowing from Max-Migold. You can imagine that, right? So that's how disciplined a business should be. Keep a kitchen cabinet of advisors. Many of us, we keep our ideas in our head. We say we don't want anybody to steal our idea. We end up dying with the idea. Let there be a few people you can liaise with and talk with so that your ideas can, be built. There are some people that will kill your idea, so avoid them. There are very negative people around you. Just avoid them. Don't make them your advisors because they'll just tell you, oh, you want to start a business. Who are you, right? Work on your brand. Identify priority actions that will help you fulfill the needs. Delegate low priority things out. You can't do everything for yourself. Even today, I don't teach all courses anymore. We have more than 13 different facilitators that teach, unlike before. Structure your business in such a way that it maximizes profit. There must be a way to make money out of what you do. Your profit should not be consumed. So at the end of the day, oh, you made a profit, 5 million, 10 million, let's put it in the pocket, go and buy one plot of land. No, until your business gets to that point where you say, oh, this business has achieved its dream, you will keep saving part of your profit to reinvest in it. Okay, so that's why I say the company is a net borrower from me, not me borrowing from the company, And then ensure that you always talk to people, stakeholders, employees in your organization about the value so that they can communicate this value and then have excellent customer service. Being able to continue a network with those who have encountered your business is a key tool for success in your business. And then your vision should not stay stagnant. Shouldn't stay stagnant. When we started out Max-Migold training, it was just call people together, train them. Now we are using Zoom to reach hundreds more. I wonder what kind of hall we could have had to have all of you, 3,000, 4,000 in the room, possibly for this kind of session. Technology has come. And then in the next year, we are already working on a project to digitize all our training modules. So you can have access to the videos, the content, study on your own, and earn the certificates as you go. So there's a lot of innovation and research that is going on, going into this. What's the FM market landscape in Nigeria like? Who are the key players? Which companies have outsourced their FMs? What's your assessment of the market? I look at our market and I can tell you from my experience of 25 years that the market for FM services is less than 6% tapped. Opportunities are huge because we know that more than 90% of organizations still do their FM in-house without the appropriate the trained professionals and without the right body of knowledge and processes, okay? So opportunities are still here, huge. And then there are trends that are, driving this wave of FM service and FM outsourcing. For example, companies are beginning to have new ways of working. There's technology adoption, there's concern for wellness, there's care for people because of the triple bottom line. It's no longer about we make money anymore. You want to attract the best talents anywhere they are in the world now if you want to stand out. And then digital disruption, smart technology, and artificial intelligence. A lot is happening in this space, right? So the FM organizations or departments or companies have to stay ahead of the curve. We no longer need to, get ourselves on scaffolds to do inspections at heights anymore. A drone can do that for us these days. We can put sensors all over our building and get information in a single dashboard as to who is where, what temperature it is, what's the humidity, and so on. There's so much that we can cover with technology these days. And then economic and regulatory development. There's a lot of pressures for companies to adjust how they do business. You have a duty of care to the community, for example, to have CSR projects. You have a duty of care to your environment and to the people around you. And there's so much companies are now looking for that they want partners who can take away that burden from them. I mean, if you're a banker, I want to face banking. Let others do the facilities for me. And that's what's driving this initiative. So more FM companies is a good thing for our industry, right? we cannot say say less of that. Facility management contracts could be any of these. Total FM, when the vendor is appointed to provide all the services and do all the management for supervision, right? And they use their staff to do everything in-house, everything. So it's a form of integrated facility management strategy, but it involves one company taking the whole work. Okay, the integrated facility management model is that one contractor takes everything, but ends up subletting or subcontracting to service providers. So I can become the FM company, and I have a cleaning company under me. I have a maintenance company under me for different services. And then you could also go ahead and have single service for contracted for elevators, for generators, and you could even have a simple task for special expertise. For example, you want to do a condition assessment on your facilities, you can get experts to come and do this. What's the future of FM? There's going to be more service integration. You know, a research done by Frost and Sullivan, made some fantastic projections into the future of the FM profession. IFM will have reached 13.9% penetration of the global FM market from the current 5 to 6%. There'll be a lot of growth. When I say the Middle East region, think about all developing countries, Nigeria inclusive, and Africa generally, right? Workplace change management, growing importance of workplace design and optimization driven by changing workplace practices. And now, because of Ebola and then COVID, a lot of workplace changes are going to come to play as well. And then leverage of IoT. Internet of Things is going to be the new driver of tomorrow's success. Internet of buildings. Buildings are becoming smart. Buildings can now speak to themselves. They cannot get online and solve their own problems, right? Because we cannot build sensors into them. And then you have big data, all of the data that is generated from the people that use the building, from the systems of the building, and then everything, using them to make decisions. When an organization wants to move to the next level, they need data from the facility team. When they want to go sustainable in their operations, they need to have proper data from the FM team, right? When they want to attract the best staff into the organization, they need the FM team to be on board as well. And then there's a lot of market consolidation. So nowadays you are getting a company somewhere in Dubai or somewhere in the US award a single contract for all their facilities across the world in 20 countries, in 100 countries, in 200 countries, and things like that. So a lot of consolidation is happening in the industry. And the FM industry is only going to get larger and larger. The opportunities are going to get more for everybody. Okay, so that's our lesson. It's time to get into the questions and answer sessions. I know a few hands are up. Administrators, if you can promote the individuals who have their hands up, one by one, to come on as panelists, introduce yourself and ask your questions. We still have time to take care of that. So who's going to help us get Mubarak, Babalola? Okay, Mubarak, do you hear us? Can you speak from where you are? Are you able to speak? Mubarak. Haruna, please go ahead. I see your hand up. Haruna, please go ahead. David Yayo, please go ahead. Your hand is up. Okay, so I have Ibukun Oyewale has been promoted now. Why don't you unmute and go ahead and give your, ask your question, please.
Hello.
Hi.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, you're welcome.
Thank you very much for this privilege, for bringing up something like this.
Excellent.
So I've been looking up for a session like this, so which can spur me more into FM. So, and I really appreciate all that I've gotten so far for today. So, and I believe the other 2 days is going to be very rich. So my question is, for someone like me, I'm a practicing maintenance engineer. So I have a background in mechanical engineering. So, but I work with a company as a maintenance engineer.
Yep.
So, and I do facility maintenance too.
Yeah.
So things like when there are issues with plumbing and water system, so I help resolve that. So when there are issues with generator, diesel generators, I help resolve that, and other electrical issues in the facility.
Yeah.
So I want to ask that for someone like me who love to transition fully into FM.
Yep.
So how can I have my first degree now.
Yeah.
So, and I have the practical experiences in facility maintenance.
Yeah.
So how can I navigate fully into FM?
Excellent. Excellent. Fantastic. All right. So you are a prime candidate for the next level in your career. You are the best point now to advance your career, become a professional facility manager using the FM diploma, right? So click on the link for the FM diploma training. I think it's on the chat. Register straight up from there, and you in fact after the first and second classes, you ask yourself what you have been doing all your career. You know, it's like this. You know, when you're an engineer, you're basically asked to do things at the shop floor in a reactive way, mostly. Solve issues, fix issues. But when you become a facility manager, you are no longer fixing issues, you are preventing issues from occurring. You create an asset register, you do condition assessment. For example, you create an emergency plan, you create a maintenance plan, and you know all the strategies for maintenance. You are moving away from, hey, go and do this, go and do that, to the master of the entire system. What you're going to learn in 3 months is going to just transform you completely. So that's the short answer to your question. You're at the stage where you need to make that transition. Okay?
Okay. So thank you, sir.
You're welcome. Who else is promoted to ask a question? Let's see. Okay, Yusuf, you are here now. Please go ahead. You can unmute. Can we grant Yusuf permission to talk? Okay, so for everybody in this training, stay on with us. I need to make some announcements. It's better I make it upfront on the first day. We've been having a lot of interest from you for the slides of this training, as well as for the videos of this training and a certificate for this training. I mean, who would think of going through this kind of high quality training for 3 days and not provide a certificate. So we've made that possible, right? There are two conditions. Take every day of this training, watch the videos after we are done, if you missed anything, and then do a small survey, a very short 10-question survey, right? We need to know what you learned, what you think, what you recommend about the training, and then you will get a certificate. You will get access to the videos. Of course, that one is already a given because you all get access to the videos. And then you will get the slides for this training, all for a token of 10,000. You'll get a link to process that after you've done the survey, okay? So, stay on with us till Friday, and then you'll be able to have all of these benefits. So 10,000 is not selling, it's just a giveaway for you to be able to get the certificates, okay? Any other question? I see a lot of hands up. Did they put their questions in the chat? If we can promote them. Okay, I see Chimeze now. Chimeze, please go on. Chimeze and Joko, you can unmute yourself now. Okay, Chimeze is still muted. Why don't we give the mic now to Ibrahim? Ibrahim, please unmute and go ahead. Samuel Ayede. You are not muted, so you can give us your question now.
Okay, good evening, Mr. Paul and the entire house. Mr. Paul, I know you may not know me, but I have had the opportunity to be in one of your trainings in Warri at Shell office in Ejeba.
Okay.
I think in that training we're giving certificates. We did it for 3 days. I was actually HSE officer to one of the contractors in Ogudu back then. And then since then, I've been working, and then it has been an issue for me. I'm trying to see how I can upgrade in my facility experience. Actually, I'm a safety officer, and I have my HSE level 3. I have OND in HSE, and have BS in health education. I'm not an engineer by profession, but I have had opportunity to work with facilities. And even as we speak, I'm still working more or less like a supervisor in charge. We do maintenance, housekeeping, gardening, we do electrical work, just general facility maintenance, including water treatment plants, sewage treatment plants. We do all of this and we'll provide service and maintenance for the company. So I want to ask now, with all of this, I know I stand a better chance to get a certificate and also to be part of this Max-Migold. I actually never knew you were the one that had this email. I've been seeing series of messages from you, and I was shocked to have seen that it's actually coming from you. So I want to know, with all of this, what kind of training do I go in for, and what kind of certificate do I need to acquire, at least to back up my experience in facility maintenance? Thank you very much.
Very good, very good. So you come from a health and safety background, and I always say health and safety is a facility management profession, because every time you pick up all of those things that should be fixed, all of those risks and hazards around you, who do you get to fix them? The FM guys, isn't it? So why would you stay in a profession that you're only picking things to correct when you are not the one correcting them? Become the accountable party in the built environment. And that's why you need to elevate to become a facility manager. The good thing about FM is that it's multidisciplinary. People can come into FM from all disciplines. So your health and environment background, education, accounting, engineering, everybody have transferable skills and competencies. They bring it to FM, and then they learn the body of knowledge. So for you, again, the FM diploma is your best bet. It's your sure bet way of getting a proper comprehensive training and a highly recognized certification for your FM skills and experience. And then once you've done that, you can now move on to the FMP. I mean, of course, after you do the FM diploma, your stature and professional standing will increase, you make more money, and then you can now save up $1 million to do the FMP, and another $1 million to do the SFP, and another $1 million to do the CFM. Those are all international designations, right? Of course, opportunities are bound in the industry. So sign up, the link is there in the chat. Let's talk after this free training on how you can take the entire 3 months of comprehensive training and move on to the next level, okay?
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's see who else has been promoted to speak. More hands are up. Ibrahim is still not able to speak. I don't know. He's not muted anymore. Please go ahead. Ibrahim Naguto. Let's unmute. Is Ibrahim speaking now? Are you ready? Let's unmute Chimeze Daniel Njoku if he's ready. And then we have Grace at Chimugu. Grace, if you're ready to speak, please unmute and ask your question. I hope there is no technical hitch at your end that's making you unable to speak after raising your hand. Okay. All right. Mubarak Alegbe, let's hear from you, please.
Hello, sir.
Yes, you're welcome.
This is Sunday David from. I'm calling. This call from my degree.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I've been. This is a wonderful. This is the first time. Okay. Getting to the training like this online with you, and it was a beautiful one. And I appreciate all the effort into this training. So, but my concern is that we that are not engineer from the background.
Yes.
Just like me, I study microbiology.
Yes.
But I've been doing FM jobs for more than 10 years now. So I was even given a project with WFP, with AlphaMate. That's one of the managers for the project. I was the facility manager.
Yeah.
But there was a kind of discrimination that came up that they need someone that have engineering background to manage the facility, to be the facility manager, which became a concern. So already then putting me under tension that I want to do. I was not thinking they said that my company have to bring another person, another engineer that has engineering background to handle it. What's the problem? They say the LOA, the letter of agreement or letter of authorization is it says that if an engineer should head the facility to be the facility manager. So it now became a concern to me. Now, okay, now where's our feet going to be? Where do we stand? See, already this discrimination. Although we were told from day one when we started that it's multidisciplinary, but now what we are seeing that they are trying to push some people out of it because of this kind of problem. So that's why I'm still bring on the floor. So
it's a very, very valid question. You see, there's a lot of ignorance about facility management, especially amongst clients or demand organization. They see facility management as technical maintenance. That itself is a specialist role that is below the FM, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So if an organization is not yet ready for FM, they would typically start from maintenance. Maintenance will usually be all of those, reactive processes and steps to just solve problems and make things work for them, right? But at some point, they will mature to the level where they can fully understand facility management, right? So small organizations may not be able to draw that line between the manager and the maintenance specialist at the bottom. That is the point where you look for people who turn spanners. That's where engineers must be, right? Now,
yes, sir.
At the top, as a manager, you learn quickly. So why we ask people to go for training is not really because we want to sell training, right? Many people are in FM for years, and they keep saying, this is what I studied. I'm not an engineer. Why are you asking me about air conditioner? How will I know the component parts in a chiller system? How will I know what a cylinder is in a generator? See, guys, you need to learn most of the things those engineers are doing on those systems at the peripheral level, at the surface level, so you cannot be hoodwinked. So you will need to expand your knowledge, take more training, understand air conditioning, understand electrical systems, understand in multiple researches and training to get to the point where you can now describe things that the engineers also describe. So if somebody says you are not an engineer and you can provide solutions like an engineer, I didn't read engineering in school, but I don't know any engineer in the built environment today that would challenge what I know and do in the built environment. It is research, it is study, it's training. Okay, so you can still get there. Don't be discouraged. The company may not be at that level of maturity to understand the multidisciplinary nature of FM, but over time, many companies will do. I mean, the surface is just being scratched in terms of companies knowing about FM, okay?
Yes, sir.
You're welcome. So let's hear from Emmanuel at Gilo. If you can speak, please unmute and go ahead.
All right, thank you, everyone. Good evening.
Good evening.
Thank you, I'm Emmanuel at Gilo. I have my background in engineering. I have HSC certified, and I've been doing and working under the facility management, not per se, but as a call for duty to help my organizations. So this is what I'm actually just want to say. Thank you for the training. And I hope that I will be available for the rest 2 days because I'm actually enjoying it. But I actually want to say this, that for me, I think that facility management should be a subset of HSC rather than HSC being a subset of facility management, because the facility, which is the building, is part of the environment, which is part of what HSC looks actually into.
Yes.
So I think it should be a subset of HSC and not HSC a subset of it. However, this is what I actually want to say. And I was trying to understand concerning the access to this training, this free training slide, the cost of 10,000. So I was thinking that what if we could get the total cost for the upcoming January bill training, and when we can be able to show why we show interest, either making some payment, part payment, then that can't that override the access to the 10,000 naira?
You'll get it refunded immediately. Everybody that pays for the main program will get that 10,000 naira refunded immediately.
Okay, that was the negotiation I actually want to bring on board.
Fantastic negotiation, you won.
Thank you.
Well done, Emmanuel. Okay, so who's there again? I still have a few minutes before this webinar ends. I still have 8 minutes precisely. I think I see Deborah. I hope I don't murder that name, but Deborah, please unmute and speak.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
I call this a divine privilege to be part of this webinar and also to be given an opportunity to speak.
Excellent.
I'm Digbara Akpo Barina. I'm from Ogoni, River State.
Okay.
I'm a civil engineer by training and in practice.
Fantastic.
By special grace of God, I'm a facility maintenance officer of a church, of a mega church.
Great.
And then I think I was privileged to also work as a site engineer, managing a premises before I gained this employment.
Okay.
I think that previous employment gave me an advantage during the interview for this present job. Also, I manage my own little startup called the Engineering Works, where I do micro civil engineering practice. Now, let me go to facility management. That is exactly what I'm doing now.
Yes.
In the church, I manage the facility. We have some plumbing facilities. We have cooling systems. We have building components. We have electrical components. We have mechanical components. They are all under my supervision and maintenance. So what I do is that I do a routine inspection. Number one, my role as a facility manager is to ensure that the safety and well-being of the facility to achieve its objectives as a church at all times.
Yeah.
So I'm so happy for this webinar tonight. This webinar tonight have given me more sense of belonging and more value, added more value to my career.
Fantastic.
And I would like to continue more. I don't want to take much of our time. I would like to continue more with this organization because it's a plus. That's been a plus to me right now.
Fantastic.
So I really want to encourage everyone to queue into it. Facility management is a unique area of specialization because you are like a life wire of an organization.
Exactly. Very good.
You are rendering support service. When your service is done, the organization can be done. That is why you need to be proactive. Like I say, John, just one component can cause a Sunday service.
Yes, I know.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. God bless you, sir.
Thank you. Much appreciated. Robert Moche, go ahead, please.
Good evening, Mr. Paul.
Good evening.
Yeah, it's a great privilege to be on this platform. Just like a joke, I ran into one of your posts on Facebook and I decided to give it a try. I must say that I really enjoyed my time here tonight.
Fantastic.
I'm an electrical engineer by profession, and I'm specifically based or specialized in renewable energy. I install solar and inverter systems.
Perfect.
And I'm also good in electrical maintenance as well, with some years of experience on the job.
Good.
So when I wanted to register for this webinar, I saw the option of electrical power system, something, is it generator maintenance, facility management or stuff? That was the one I even selected.
Yes.
So I really want to be good at what I'm doing right now, and then back them up with certificates for other good opportunities to come.
Super. You're
so
welcome.
I want you to recommend which part of this facility management that will be okay for me.
Excellent. So the way we structure all of the programs, if you see that drop down during registration, you'll find short courses in different things, building commissioning, electrical projects, and so on and so forth. And then you have the comprehensive diploma. Those short courses, if you take just 2 or 3 of them, you would have paid the full cost of the entire diploma. So what we normally recommend to people is, when you start on this journey, earn the diploma, become a certified professional, straight up. Use that to reinforce your position in the industry. As you go on the job, take those short courses, 2 days, 3 days, 1 day workshop as refreshers on an ongoing basis. That's basically the way they are structured. So basically, start by becoming an all-rounder. Good enough with strategy. Who was talking a while ago about enjoying this first day? Wait until you see what we have packaged for you tomorrow. And then wait until you see what we have packaged for you next tomorrow. And yet, these 3 days are just tips of the iceberg compared to what you cover in 3 months. So I think that's the first recommendation I'll give to you, Robert. Take the FM diploma and become fully qualified and certified as a facility manager. And then you can take refresher courses over the years to beef up yourself and increase your technology know-how and best practices. And then go on to do international certifications, which are a little bit more pricier. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Victor, do you want to speak? Victor Etta.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Paul.
You're welcome.
So I've been following you guys conversation and I joined late. Nothing much. I support what the last speaker said. So I'm also an electrical project engineer, which I would love also to back up my profession with this facility management program.
Very good. Very good. All right. Thank you. Sure. You're all invited. You're all welcome. I wish you the best of your FM career. Stay with us. If you have friends, if you have associates that have not, that were not here today, that did not participate in this program, please invite them. This is just day 1. We still have day 2 and 3. Let them know that today was just an introduction to the real thing. Look at the package for Tuesday. For day 2, strategic facility planning. You're going to have your mind, kind of reset completely in how you think about FM and the support service industry when you come for day 2, which is tomorrow. So enter on class early. We have 5,000 registered, but our webinar platform will accommodate the first 500. The remaining 4,500 will join through the streaming service on Facebook and YouTube, okay? So the earlier you log on, the better to secure your spot in class tomorrow, okay? And thank you so much. Thanks to our panelists, fantastic inputs from Dari Balogun, from Yemi Kasali, from David Dada, from Kayode, fantastic. And tomorrow we look forward to Anna Iyo and a few other panelists who will join us, who have gone through this process. They know what difference is made in their career, and they're singing praises for the program. So thank you so much and good night. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, sir. Bye-bye,
sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Pleasure. Yeah.
Sir.
Bye, sir.
Sir.
Thank you.